Hey everybody, it's me, Richard, and welcome to Nightmares, Tears, Anyone. Today it's Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. I'm going to be drinking out of my Evil Queen mug. And in honor of the Evil Queen, I'm wearing my falsetto shirt. Yes, love can tell a million stories. I'm going to be doing a review on today's The Children's Hour by Douglas Clegg. Come back after the intro. Hey guys, welcome back. Let me take a sip real quick. So yeah, today it is Wednesday, March 2nd, and it's National Reading Across America Day. So let's do a horror review. First off, before I get into the review, and since I'm drinking out of one of my favorite mugs, I want to do a quote from Snow White. Now, you guys all know I'm a huge Disney fan. This is one of the Evil Queen's most famous lines. Slave in the magic mirror, come from the farthest space. Through wind and darkness I summon thee. Let me see thy face. Yeah, not very dramatic, but hey, you get the gist. Yeah, she was one scary queen. I remember being a little kid seeing that movie, and she scared the hell out of me. So you guys, I'm going to shout out some new subscribers to the channel. Speaking of new subscribers, if you guys love horror as much as I do, and you don't want to miss any upcoming videos or reviews, hit that subscribe button right there, ring the bell, and if you guys want to, you don't have to, but I'd love it. Throw me a thumbs up if you like today's content. And let's get into today's review. But I want to, like I said, I want to call out some new subscribers. So let's welcome in no particular order. Let's welcome Damon Tahone, Starry Boys with a ZZZ, Swamp Monsters Are Us, Sarah and Lacey, and Steve Saunders. And the funny thing about Steve Saunders, he's a kid I went to school with. Yeah, not my nephew's best friend, Steven Saunders. This is Steve Saunders. So, I'm going to make this review pretty quick. Now, you guys usually know that I'll read my Goodreads review. I haven't posted a review. Let me see if I can move this down and get rid of the glare. No, it ain't going to work. So, sorry guys. This is an Abyss book. Now, you guys know that Abyss was supposed to be, well, here, it says the Abyss line of cutting-edge psychological horror is committed to publishing the best, most innovative, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, they did this whole thing on the inside of their books, saying that they were the most disturbing and most horrifying and scary horror books. Well, let's get into the review first. So it says, now, speaking of Douglas Clegg, this is one of his earliest books. He did do, I think he had already, this was his fourth published book. And I think he had already released Goat Dance, Breeder, which are both right there, Neverland, and Dark of the Eye. And then, yeah, this was actually his fourth published book. Now, you guys are going to notice on the cover, there is a creepy kid with fangs, and then this weird pearl necklace, it looks like. Well, me making jewelry, I thought it was a pearl necklace, but when I found out what it wasn't a pearl necklace. In a town in West Virginia, the first one disappeared. On the highway down from Baltimore, a successful writer returns home with his wife and children, remembering his childhood in the West Virginia hills. haunted by the disappearance of a young girl and by an accident that should have killed him but didn't. Now the others must follow. On the doorstep of her parents' house, a small, badly wounded child has been found, bleeding more blood than any child could possibly bleed. She will not live, nor should she, because she disappeared 13 years ago. Beneath the house on Watch Hill, in a town called Colony, a door has been opened. Those who have been waiting for their angel, and angel has a capital A, as in like a name, are about to come out. And for the good people of Colony, for the ones who never left and those who have come back, the hour has come at last, the children's hour. Now, you guys, I'm going to tell you something. This book, nothing happens. Now, sorry for that little glitch there. I had to edit. My allergies, like always, are just terrible. But this book, nothing happened in this book until 140 pages into it. Plus, it has the smallest print ever, so it took me forever to read this book. Yeah, it's only got 384 pages in it. But let me tell you this. It's a slow burn. But once the horror kicks in, I'm telling you what. This book, I actually liked better than Salem's Lot. Now, you guys know that the first 6 books Stephen King wrote are my all-time favorites. This book, how many times can I say this book? Clegg blows, I don't want to call it a vampire tale, but it is kind of a vampire tale, but not in your traditional, ooh, I'm floating at your windows, I need to be stabbed with a crucifix and all that other stuff. This book, how do I put it? There's so much going on, but it takes, like I said, almost 125 to 140 pages to get into it. Now, a lot of people say that this was a ripoff of Stephen King's It. Now, it is about 3 kids that years before they experienced and did something that they regret. And he is coming home later with his wife and 2 kids. But he is coming home to see his mother, who he hasn't seen in quite some time. Now, the town of Colony, West Virginia, I don't know if it's a real place, but Clegg writes this little village town like such a real place that I could actually see this place existing. Now, normally, like I said, I would read my Goodreads review, but I'm going to read you guys 3 passages from this book. And they're not in order from first to last. I just want to read you how Clegg writes. A lot of people have never even read Douglas Clegg. I've always liked him. He opened the door. The room was in the same condition in which it had been when Winston had been a boy and when he had been ushered into the room by John. John Feely said. Now, John Feely is the old man that lives in the scary old house next to the cemetery, or it might even be in the cemetery. But John Feely is the man that everyone was scared of when they were kids. John Feely said, "It has lived since before God created man. It was thrown from heaven by God and has dwelt in the rock since Adam first was expelled from Eden. It is called Abaddon. It is the angel of the pit." Winston, at 16, stood beside an equally young Virgil Cobb and whispered, "And if there was ever a pit, this is it. Yeah, this house is the pit." The window had long been boarded up, but there was light from a single candle, which seemed an encouraging sign. Nervous, Winston drew the revolver out and held it up as if willing to shoot anything that moved. The dressing table and mirror were clear, as if no one even lived within this room. The drapes were drawn shut on the ornate canopied bed. John Feely had once bragged that his great-grandfather had brought it over from Bavaria, piece by piece, and then had spent 4 years reassembling it. Its dark wooden posts had grown dull. The drapes, enormous red and gold, were caked with dust. And behind that drape lurked a girl with an image and eyes that neither of them would ever forget. Now, that scene reminded me of... A lot of you guys will remember the comedy movie with Steve Guttenberg and Tom Selleck, Three Men and a Baby, or Three Men and a Baby, and then Three Men and a Little Lady. Well, there was a scene in there that the media had taken by storm where there was an image of a creepy boy standing behind a curtain. Now, I'll try to pull up the image from the internet, and if I can, I'll pop it right there. If it doesn't appear there, you guys, in the video, you'll know I didn't find it. But it was later debunked as the little boy, quote, boy, standing behind the curtain, was a cutout from the David Seltzer movie, The Omen. Now, I want to read you another passage. This one, where was it at? He was about to toss a rock up at Tenley's window when he thought better of it. He got another idea. There was something about Noah that even he didn't like to admit to himself. He was far too good to breaking into houses. He had a technique involving getting into the house through the basement and then tiptoeing up the stairs. The McWhirters only had one tiny window in their basement. As Noah crouched next to it, he wasn't sure if he was even going to fit through it. He used a rock to smash the glass and carefully pushed out the jagged shards with his hands. He slipped his head through, then his shoulders, arms first. "Shit," he whispered. He was not going to make it all the way through. He was about to withdraw when someone grabbed his arms, tugging him forward. "Tenley, is that you?" he asked, trying to see in the dark basement. He felt other hands. Small, like little kids, and they were trying to pull him in. He was scared and tried to get his head back. Then, when something touched his face, it felt like a feather. Yeah, a feather. He opened his mouth to scream, but something in the dark shot into the back of his throat and down his esophagus. Yeah, it sounds like something from The String. They pulled him swiftly into the dark basement. Now, if I would have broken into a house, I sure in the hell would have never went head first through a window. Yeah, a window that you're going to have to break out of. But just the fact that that thing shot down his mouth and into his esophagus, I ain't saying anything else. Yeah. And then the third and last passage I want to read is... Oh, yeah, this is cool. This is... Patty Glass is the little girl that I told you on the back who disappeared 13 years prior. Patty Glass is a character in the book that is very, very important. But when you find out who she is, what she is, and how she's connected to these kids, it's very, very disturbing. But I want to read you this passage. It says, what emerged from the doorway of Virgil Cobb's examination room did not walk across the floor. Now, Virgil Cobb, I was going to tell you, is the local doctor. He was a doctor... Well, I don't want to give anything away, but he was a doctor in the town when the kids were all younger, and he was very, very, very strange and very disturbing. Almost like a Reanimator doctor. Yeah, that doctor from the Reanimator. But he wasn't making zombies, of course, but he was just a really creepy doctor. What emerged from the doorway of Virgil Cobb's examination room did not walk across the floor, but crawled from the top of the door frame, across the ceiling, and across the ceiling down the other side of the wall. The light from the halogen floor lamp cast rays from the thing's main body, which rolled at first in a fluid motion as if it were some thick spilled liquid on the ceiling. But it was a body, a small body, moving, reaching as it moved across the acoustic tile of the ceiling. Virgil Cobb would have trouble describing it later. Now, that scene I wanted to shout out because that scene freaked the shit out of me. And this goes out to Christy Randazzo. Christy Randazzo, that scene reminded me of my little intro where that thing crawls out of that picture frame and goes up the wall and across the ceiling. Yeah, you guys, so if you haven't read this book, this copy's really, really tore up. I got it at a local used bookstore. I wasn't going to buy it, but it was only 50 cents. I wanted the original edition because I really, really dig this artwork. And this town just really reminds me of a town that's in eastern Washington. And yeah, you guys all know I grew up in the Seattle-Tacoma area. Eastern Washington was across the mountains on the other. But there's a town there that has 4 churches, and they all have these tall steeples. And the people are really, really, really weird. I don't want to say the name of the town because one of my subscribers is from that town, and he'll know what I'm talking about. He'll laugh about it actually because him and I have talked about, that the town is very creepy. But yeah, Christy Randazzo, that little passage was for you. So you guys, if you haven't read it, pick up Douglas Clegg's The Children's Hour from 1995. It is a great book. It's been reprinted a couple times. There is a trade paperback, the bigger size ones. You guys, once again, my prayers and thoughts of positivity and quick healing go out to everybody in Ukraine. It's just horrible. It's just an awful, awful, awful thing. This kind of stuff doesn't happen in 2022, and But yeah, you guys take care of yourselves. Live your life like a book. Pick up a good scary book. Have a great nightmare. In fact, speaking of nightmares, you guys, I had a really, really good one last night. I was hallucinating before I even fell asleep, and Bruce was like, okay, honey, you need to put your book down and you need to go to sleep. But yeah, I finished The Children's Hour yesterday, and it seemed like it took me a month and a half to read it. I don't even know. I know it took me longer than 3 weeks to read, but the print was so damn small, and I've just been working on a lot of other stuff, and I've been listening to 2 other books. So you guys take care. Have a great week ahead of you. It is Tuesday. It's supposed to be 75 here again today in Sacramento. It's been gorgeous. I just am not looking forward to the summer. So you guys, I'm Richard with Nightmares, Tears, Anyone. Keep getting scared, and you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, you guys. And take a look in that magic mirror. Are you the slave in that magic mirror? Take care, you guys. See ya.